Hi, my name is Melissa Burke DeLang, and I'm a bilingual speech-language pathologist and the creator of this S module. Okay, so I am here today. I just want to let you know that you might hear a little bit of giggling or googling or whatever in the background. My son, my little baby, is here with me today, but you will notice in all of the videos in this S module that they are imperfect, right? Unedited. And that is intentional. And let me tell you why. It's intentional for many reasons, but one of the reasons is because I believe that perfect is good, but done is better. And that's a quote I get from Tiffany Peterson, who I love. We are all busy people. We have a lot of things going on, and sometimes things aren't going to look exactly the way we hope, right? And that's okay. And that's part of the message of this module. But let me dive into a little bit more about what this module is, who it's good for, and give you a few tips on how to use it for maximal benefit, okay? Let's get started. Yeah? Yeah, let's get started. So the S module consists of a series of videos that walks the viewer through how to make an S sound from start to finish, okay? So we are going to walk the child, probably your child if you're watching this video, exactly how to make that S sound step by step and help them practice for mastery along the way. And at the end of the program, I guess not. I guess we're not going to do it. I guess we're not going to do this, sorry. I guess we're not going to do this so well. At the end of the program, they should be able to make the S sound accurately and thus be more intelligible and be a more confident speaker. So as a parent or helper, your role is really critical. And so I want you to watch this video in full so that you'll know how to best use these videos and information, all right, for success. I use a little puppy dog named Rufus to assist me and keep it fun. So who's it for? This S module is for any child who struggles to produce the S sound, all right, or any person really, but child is what it's geared towards. So maybe the child had an evaluation for speech, but they didn't qualify. Or maybe you're noticing that they can't seem to say the S sound correctly and you'd like to try this program before getting them evaluated. Or maybe this program was recommended to you by a speech language pathologist like myself, and they're using it in conjunction with the speech therapy that they're receiving. So maybe it's a homework program, right? Whatever the case may be, I'm really happy you are here. So let's go through 6 tips on how to use these videos for maximum benefit. Are you ready? Tip number 1 is 1 video a day. I recommend only practicing no more than 1 video a day. And this is because each video is very short. They're less than 5 minutes long. They'll give child instructions on what to do, as well as practice time, all within that time frame of the video. But we want to make sure we keep homework short. And the reason for this is that if it's too long, it can get overwhelming. We want to minimize overwhelm and discouragement in the child and maximize encouragement, fun, and keeping it short, all right? Feel free to add a minute or 2 of practice at the end of the video if you want to, but no child wants to be corrected all day long, just like you wouldn't want to be corrected all day long. So keep that time short and sweet, okay? The next tip is do not move on to the next video until the previous one has been mastered at 80% or better. Okay, this is the 80% rule. This means that 4 out of 5 of the productions that the child is making, or 8 out of 10, are produced correctly, okay? And the reason we do this is because we're retraining the brain and the mouth for a current habit, from a current habit that's very ingrained. So it takes some time, all right? And you wanna see at least 80% mastery before moving on to the next step, because they won't be able to do the next thing if they haven't mastered the previous one. Now, if you have any questions about this, I do recommend you speak with a speech language pathologist like myself or someone in your area. We call ourselves SLPs, so if I say SLP, that's what I mean. And obviously you can find one in your local area through going online and doing a search for a private clinic, or maybe at your local school. and you can always reach out to me through social media or my contact information at the end of this video. I want you to understand, okay, please understand that these videos are not meant to replace the services of a speech language pathologist. They are meant to support. If your child is not seeing an SLP and is using this program as part of an RTI approach or a home intervention of some kind, just do your best. But if you have any doubt, don't hesitate to reach out to a professional near you who can guide you. As I mentioned before, these videos are largely unedited and imperfect, but that's intentional for several reasons. The first reason, I'm just going to highlight a couple of those reasons. The first reason I'm highlighting is because it allows me to get this content out to you more quickly and at very little cost to you. But the second is because I do want to communicate that it's okay to make mistakes. A lot of the kids that go through something like this, that have speech issues, may be receiving input that is telling them that they aren't good enough or that they can't, right? That idea that I can't. And we don't want our children to grow up with that in mind. We want them to know that they can. And that perfect, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we can always improve, right? So that's why 80% mastery. We're not looking for perfection, we are looking for 80%, okay? And as my favorite Tony Horton always says, do your best and forget the rest. Okay, the next tip for working with this at home is to be very patient, okay? We are retraining an ingrained habit, and it takes time for habits to change. This is why we're taking it one step at a time, one video at a time, and that we master it before we move on to the next. And this is also why you'll notice that the videos do not call the sound the S sound right away. If the child knows how to read, the way they currently say the S sound is what they know as the S sound, okay? So we're retraining that mouth before we retrain the name so that they can feel it, know it, experience it, and not go into an automatic the second they hear S, right? So that we're getting a new sound in the mechanism, so that then we're gonna call it the new S sound, and they will associate what they're doing correctly here with the new S sound, right? That new name. Okay, so, and whether or not your child knows how to read, they are used to saying words with S sounds in them a certain way, whatever way they're already producing them. So we have to break that habit and retrain. All right, if possible, the next tip is you want to vary the context in which you're working with these videos, okay? What that means is that you want to change the time and the place. Okay, we know that when a child practices behaviors in different contexts and with different people, they increase their ability to carry over that new behavior into their daily life. Excuse me. So for this reason, if at all possible, I recommend doing these videos at different times and in different places. So for example, one day you might do it in the car, and then the next day you might do it at the park. And then the next day before dinner, and maybe the next day after breakfast, okay? It doesn't really matter, and I understand that this might not be practical in all cases, but it's definitely something to consider and can help with transfer. All right, the next tip is about praise, okay? We're gonna talk about how to praise your child. Please note that these videos were created for the child to be able to use independently without any help, but it can never hurt to have somebody monitor them as well, okay? So if they're already working with an SLP and have mastered the skill in therapy and they're just practicing for carryover, you shouldn't need to correct them that much because they should be producing the correct sound. But if they're learning the skill for the first time through these videos, you'll want to be nearby to kindly remind them to keep their tongue behind their teeth, right? Or whatever the case may be as instructed in these videos. So you may have them use a mirror for self-monitoring if you wish. That's always a great tool. Having them look at themselves in the mirror and watch what they're doing with their tongue in their mouth is great. And since the purpose of these videos is to teach a child to make their S sound correctly, we don't want to reinforce incorrect productions, right? So this is why we want to be really specific with our praise, all right? So be specific with your praise. So for example, when a child is working hard, but they're making inaccurate productions of the sound, what you want to do is praise effort. Here, let me give him something. what you want to do is praise effort, okay? So for example, you could say, oh, I love how hard you're working. Or I see that you're working really hard right now, okay? Give them that confidence that you love that. And if you're going to correct them, then mention something they're doing well first, all right? So for example, wow, I love how you're showing Rufus your teeth. Let's see if you can keep your tongue behind them. Or, wow, I love how you're keeping your tongue behind your teeth. Let's see if you can keep that air coming right out the middle, okay? All right, next tip is, well, let's talk about Rufus. You may be wondering, why Rufus? Why a puppet? Well, as my friend, and she's a professional actress and puppeteer, says, there's nothing that a puppet can't solve. No problem that a puppet can't solve. Rufus keeps things fun, and that's really important when we're working in therapy, especially when something's discouraging to a child or difficult to a child. We want to keep things light and fun while they're working hard. My clients love him, and I am interested to know if that translates to other children who don't have experience with Rufus in speech sessions with me, right? So I have a little offer that if your child is mastering the S sound, has mastered the S sound, or if they need a little extra encouragement, Rufus can make a short 1-minute video congratulating them or encouraging them to keep going and keep working hard and assuring them that they are awesome. And I do this because I firmly believe it takes a village not only to raise a child, but to support their communication. And obviously, to respect confidentiality, I will need your permission. If you are the parent or caregiver, you can give permission to me to do that. But I can use I can use their name, their personal information, and make a quick video personalized to them to help them keep going. If you're working with an SLP, obviously, if you're the parent, you can contact me directly. If you're an SLP watching this video, you can contact me and we can have parents sign off and I can create that video, or I can create it in a generic way and still send it along so that no personal information needs to be shared. All right, now let's talk about when to refer, okay? So this S module consists of a series of videos that walks this viewer through how to make the S sound, which we talked about already, right? And each video has instruction, modeling, and practice time, all within the time frame of the video, okay? We educate the child about which parts of the mouth we're going to use, and we take them through step by step by step by step, all the way through how to make this sound in all parts of speech, okay? So it's really helpful for them to have you as a helper help along in that process as you're learning too, right? But the videos are designed for the child to be used independently. Now, if a child is still making errors and it's not working for the child, that's when you refer, okay? There are lots of different types of S distortions, and not all children will be able to remediate their distortions with these videos. So I do encourage you to watch and see as your child is working with these videos. And if the child is not able to produce the sound correctly in the early videos, where we practice the sound all by itself, or what we call in isolation, then you should refer to a speech-language pathologist. If your child has moved through this program and they can do all the words correctly and produce the sounds accurately, but they are not able to transfer that sound from words and things into their spontaneous speech, then I recommend an approach called the SAT-PAC approach, or something similar, which really targets speed and accuracy using nonsense words. Now, this is an approach that works for children that they have to be at least 2nd grade or older, like about 8 years old or older. So if you have any questions about that, just reach out to me or your local speech-language pathologist, and we can give you more details on that. Lastly, I just want to thank you for all that you do. You have a challenging job as parents. We all do, and as caregivers and helpers of these children. But it is not without reward. I hope that you know you are making a difference in these children's lives. You're helping them to become more confident communicators, and that's what we want. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you have any questions or comments, I welcome positive and critical feedback. I'm always seeking to improve. And This is my contact information, delang.essentials@gmail.com. You can also find me on social media at Melissa Burke DeLang. I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. And that's it. I think that's all you need to know. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk to you soon.